Om 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavaihi Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om बोले श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। समस्त जनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। बोले श्री वेदव्यास भगवान की जय। हरि ओम। In Yaksha Prashna, in the fourth session yesterday, we were looking into the qualities of a Kshatriya. What makes the Kshatriya a Deva? Ishuvastram Esham Devatvam. His weapons, bows and arrows, makes him a Deva. Means always ready to protect others who need to be protected. And what does it make him a noble person? Yajnaha Esham Satam Iva. So, Yajna means joining with others, getting together with people, and performing great sacrifices, fire rituals, or basically organizing work for the welfare of the country is a yajna. When a Kshatriya does that, he becomes a noble person. When a Kshatriya expresses fear, he becomes an ordinary human being. Only an ordinary human being will express fear. It is normal and natural for the human being to express fear. So a Kshatriya means one who is on a noble call of duty in protecting others. Rakshanam, Poshanam. Kshatat Trayateti Kshatriyaham. One who protects others from Kshata or being injured. Such a person is a Kshatriya. So when he is afraid of something, when he acts or when he does not act out of fear, then he becomes an ordinary human being. Yesterday we did not see the fourth question. So what is it? Kim yesham asatam bhavaha. When does the Kshatriya become lesser than ordinary, below ordinary? Parityagaha asatam bhavaha. So the question asked by Yaksha to you guys, when does the Kshatriya become less than ordinary? When does he become almost not fit to be a Kshatriya? Asat means not truth, not reality, not as he should be. Parityagaha asatam bhavaha, asatam iva. A Kshatriya, when he does parityagaha, when he abandons his post of duty, when he abandons his call of duty, when he gives up his duty, when he runs away from his duty, this is what Arjuna was planning to do in the beginning. Arjuna was planning to run away from the battlefield, run away from the war out of misplaced compassion, misplaced pity. So, parityagaha asatam bhava iva. So that is the reason why Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he made fun of Arjuna. he laughed at Arjuna for the kind of quality that he is expressing. When a Brahmana does parityaga, meaning when he gives up his duty, he is answering the call of moksha. He just gives it up. But when a Kshatriya gives up his call of duty, when the Kshatriya gives everything up, then it is a dishonorable quality for him. Kshatriya dharma is to protect people, and when people come to seek refuge with a Kshatriya, then it is his bounden duty to protect them by answering that call of duty. So the whole Yaksha Prashna begins with a Brahmana approaching the Kshatriyas, the Pandavas, saying that you please retrieve my arani sticks. The deer has taken it away. And the deer, it got stuck in the deer's antlers. The arani sticks have gone. So please help me. That is how the Brahmana approached. And that is how Yudhishthira, all the Pandavas went towards this lake in Dvaitavana. And the 4 Pandavas, they died in Dvaitavana because they did not answer the questions posed by the Yaksha, and they went ahead and took sipped the water from the lake. Anyasya hi anyato bhayam bhavati. Yesterday we saw this. So what is the cause for fear? But parityagaha, in the Bhagavad Gita, the third type of tyaga is mentioned. Tyaga means actually giving up. Tyaga means saying enough is enough. Tyaga means quitting or taking leave from this world, taking leave from the duties, taking leave from all desires, not raising more desires, not cultivating more desires, giving everything up is tyaga. So when that tyaga happens, it is when the tyaga is being done because it is very difficult, then it is a tamasika tyaga. When rajasika tyaga is being done because it is very painful, it is not very comfortable for me, then it becomes a rajasika tyaga. When satvika tyaga is done, it becomes the cause for moksha. Satvika tyaga means I don't want anything anymore in this world. I don't have any need to enjoy anything from this world or the other world. Neither pleasures of this world nor the pleasures of heaven. I am ready to move on to realize the self. When for this reason tyaga is made, then it becomes a satvika tyaga. Parityagaha means completely renouncing everything, completely renouncing the call of duty, completely giving everything up is parityaga. Mohat tasya parityagaha. So out of delusion, if we give up everything, then it is tamasika tyaga. The next question is from Yajna. So the Yaksha is continuing in a series. He's actually, the questions are because the person he is questioning is a Kshatriya. And so we come into, whenever we take up an exam, we are always questioned on our portions only. So the portions of the Kshatriya is Kshatriya Dharma. So when a Kshatriya is being questioned, he is being questioned on Kshatriya Dharma. So the next Yaksha is asking, on what is Kshatriya's Dharma? He says, when does the Kshatriya become a noble person? So he wants to enlighten or he wants to kindle the thoughts on Yajna in the mind of Yudhishthira. He asked this question. Yaksha uvacha kimekam yajniyam samam kimekam yajniyam yajuho kachaisham vrunute yajnam kam yajno nati vartate. Yudhishthira replies, Yudhishthira uvacha prano vai yajniyam sama mano vai yajniyam yajuho rugeka vrunute yajnam tam yajno nati vartate. So in every step in this book, Yaksha Prashna, published by CCMP, written by Swami Shivayoganandaji of Chinmaya Mission, Madurai, everything is being explained in three parts. One part is as a um, as a meditative process or as an upasana. The other part is as a yoga, and the third part is as jnana. Kim ekam yajniyam sama. So what is the question? Has the first part of the question has three more questions on the yajna only. What is um, what is this yajna? What is the sama in a yajna? Prana is the sama in a yajna. Sama is the in the yajna, the person who begins with the sama is the hota. The Sama Veda is called the Udgita, and in the yajna, the hota begins with singing the sama. The Sama Veda is very beautiful. Music or Sangeeta Shastra comes from Sama Veda, and Sama Veda contains of 7 notes. Sari Gama Padani. Then again the sa. Sa ni da pa ma ga re. In the Sama Veda, all the Vedic mantras, when they are sung, they become Sama. For example, the Gayatri mantra, Bhur Bhuvasvarom Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachohim So like that, whenever we are singing something, when we sing a song or when we sing some words in poetry, we need prana. So the prana is the invocation in a yajna. The whole invocation of the fire, the raising of the deity, the raising of the energy is the sama. In yoga, prana is that subtle life force. Whenever we invoke, we need prana to do any work. Yajna means collective effort. In any collective effort, the first thing that is needed is energy. That is needed is prana. It is not only the prana or the breath in us, we need very strong power within, and even in the collective effort, we need prana in the form of a very beautiful space, in the form of land, in the form of building, in the form of some construction. We need prana. We need prana in the form of money. We need prana in the form of food. And we need prana in the form of inner strength. We need prana in the form of strength of our emotions. We need prana which occupies our intellect, and so we are able to think good thoughts. So prana is the power which is invoked in a yajna by the person who conducts the yajna. In jnana, what is the prana? When the mind becomes very quiet, the prana is not diffused into multiple activities which have no use. The prana becomes contained, and in the quiet mind, the prana reflects the self, the true self. In that quietness, we are able to see the self, and the mind recognizes the true self in the prana when the mind is become very quiet. In terms of achievements in the materialistic world also, a person's success is very much dependent upon the prana shakti they have. So that is why we go for morning walks. That is why we wake up early in the morning. take a fresh bath, and we look at the sun, we do offerings to the sun, we chant mantras, and then we eat good food, healthy food at the right time, we sleep well, we do exercises, we practice yoga and pranayama, controlling or regulating the breathing. So the pranayama is very essential to keep it is a habit of breathing where for little time you do pranayama, that abhyasa will help you to keep that prana, maintain the prana in that level. Even when you get angry or when you get irritated, the practice of pranayama or the practice of quietening the mind through meditation will make you remember that you have to very quickly bring your mind back into control. So that is what pranayama is all about. And the invocation that's done in a yajna, sama, prana eva sama. What is the invocation of prana that is done? Energy that is done? Prana is invoked. That is why when you perform a yajna, the first thing that we light is the fire. That fire is a prana that we invoke, the devata that we invoke in the fire, and the rest of the yajna is always an offering to that devata. Invoke the devata, and then what we should do after the devata is invoked, what happens? Kim ekam yajniyam yajuhu manah vai mano vai yajniyam yajuhu. Kim ekam yajniyam yajuhu. What is the essential yaju for a yajna? So of course, this is already prepared when we begin the yajna. So the Kalpa Sutras talk about the ritual, the fire ritual, how many bricks should be kept, in what shape it should be arranged, and what are all the equipment that are to be arranged for a yajna. So anything can be a yajna. Our Gurudev, Puja Gurudev says, my yajna, my puja is the pen stand, the notepad to write, the ink and the pen, everything is Gurudev's yajna. So the writing table is his yajna shala. The seat of Vyasapita, where he is addressing thousands of people, that is his yajna shala. He called it the Gita Jnana Yajna. In the Bhagavatam also, in the story of Padma Purana, Bhagavata Mahatmyam, Atmadeva. So, the Atmadeva's son, Gokarna, he wants to emancipate his brother, Dundukari, who has done terrible misdeeds and has not crossed over to the other world. So, when Dundukari, who lived in this world, caused so much of harm to everybody, and after he died, he did not go into the other world. And so this Gokarna was wondering what to do. And he got the initiation from Surya Deva to do a good action. And when he was going in search of good action, the Sanakadi Rishis met him and says, Jnana Yajna eva karma. Jnana Yajna. You do Jnana Yajna. What was the Jnana Yajna? Tell the story of the Bhagavatam in 7 days. Kim ekam yajniyam yajuhu mano vai yajniyam yajuhu. The manas is the sacrificial altar. In the Kalpa Sutras, according to the Yajurveda, the Adhvaryu will make ready the altar. And even in the Katopanishad, Lokadimagnim tanuvacha tasmai ya ishtaka yavatirva yatava sachapi tat pratyavadat yathoktamathasya mrityuh punarevaha tushtaha. Nachiketa, Yajna, this Lord Yama is giving instructions to Nachiketa. Yajna is the Kamadhenu. Whatever we want, we pray to that Yajna Kunda, where the deity is created and raised, and the deity gives us what we want. And Nachiketa instructs, Lord Yama instructs Nachiketa on Swargagni Vidya. The Adhvaryu, in a very controlled mind. Mind is very quiet. You should see the people, especially from Kerala, they draw elaborate patterns. They prepare the Yajna Kunda very beautifully with colored powder all around, and the kolam is drawn very beautifully, the rangoli. They do it in silence mostly, and they expect that silence even around. When you see them at work, and especially if people are chatting and moving their bodies here and there unnecessarily, shaking their legs, they will even tell others to quieten down because this is a very silent effort. The power of prana shakti is very good. The devata shakti is invoked, but invoking the devata shakti is alone not important. I cannot drink water without filling it up in a container. We cannot hold water just like that and use that water. Yajna is meant for using that energy for some purpose. So the energy has to be poured into that Agni Kunda or the Homa Kunda. And which is that Homa Kunda? In ourselves, the mind is that Agni Kunda into which we pour prana. When we pour prana into the mind, it is very contained safely within, which means when we pour prana into the mind means when we use that mind for enjoying, we use that mind for suffering, we use that mind for gossiping, we use that mind for worrying, we use that mind for complaining, the prana goes away. How do we know the prana goes away? We get that feeling inside. It is called, in the language of psychology, it is called disorientation. And that feeling of disorientation, we can experience something is not steady inside, our breathing is not proper, the heart is beating fast, there is palpitation, there is an experience of nervousness, there is some churning in the stomach, even sickness, everything is all a sign of disorientation within. So, if the mind is disoriented, then the prana gets lost. That is what we experience as some kind of a discomfort inside. Whenever somebody says something, somebody shouts at us, we say our heart broke. What is that breaking happening? The mind is breaking because the mind contains a prana inside. The prana just gets broken. It is just like a glass vessel with water or some other liquid breaking, and the water shatters all around. That shattering experience is what we feel as discomfort within or severe pain. We say, I had a meltdown. It was a complete meltdown. The meltdown or the bursting or, the breaking, whatever we experience within, which is not so comfortable, which is very painful, which we suffer, is the mind breaking into pieces. So we should know how to hold the mind together in that altar. The altar of the mind should be made with steady bricks of love. The bricks of love make the altar of the mind. In that altar, we invoke prana shakti. So the Adhvaryu prepares the altar, and the prana shakti alone is not enough. We have to gather the mind together and we have to focus the mind on the work that needs to be done. So this is what this very well contained mind, well organized mind is very essential for us to achieve success in any field, whether it is yoga, whether it is pranayama, whether it is sports, whether it is cooking or gardening, whether it is speaking to somebody or just conveying what we want to make a point that we want to make. In all the practices of yoga and in yajna and in jnana. In jnana, we need that well organized mind, well steadied mind through the practices of shama, controlling of the mind, dhamma is controlling of the sense organs, uparamaha, focusing on the work that we need to do. That is what the prana that is raised in the yajna. Then Titiksha, putting up with the small pinpricks of life, not allowing the mind to again go and disintegrate into this problem and that problem, holding the mind back. Titiksha. Then Shraddha, having complete faith in what we are doing, that we are doing the right thing and the result that we want, we are going to get. To go one step further, we have already got the result and we are doing this as a matter of success, enjoyment, and celebration. So every yajna is a celebration. A yajna is not a beggary. Please give me this, give me that. Whatever we need, we have already got. And we do the yajna as a matter of celebration. So the 19th question is, Kacha Esham Vrunute Yajnam Rig Eka Vrunute Yajnam. So, who among them, the Rig, Yajus, Sama, is choosing the Yajna chooses whom? The Yajna accepts whom? The Yajna chooses whom? Rig, the Yajna chooses Rig alone. So, it's a very intricate question. The Hota and then the Advaryu, the Hota, he creates the fire, he raises the prana. So he raises the prana with the Samaveda. The Samavedi is the Udgata, and the Udgata extends the invitation, and then the Advaryu, he prepares the Yajna Kunda. And then the third person who chants the Rig mantras. The Rig mantras are chanted at the end of Yajna. The Rig is representing Vak. So the Yajna, the Devata that is raised in the Yajna, is not concerned about being raised first, because the Devata is already present and it is being invoked in the prana. So the Devata has got nothing to do with its own self. For the Devata to be raised, the Yajna Kunda or the mind is very essential. So the Devata does not concern itself about the mind also. Finally, in the Rik is being chanted. Rik means words. The words, sentences, the prayers that we ask. The Devata takes that alone. So what is the significance of this is, the Yaksha asks, the Yajna, what does the Yajna choose? The sacrifice chooses something. The sacrifice takes something. What is it that it takes? The sacrifice takes Rig alone. Here Rig is our words. Yudhishthira says that the Vak or the words in the form of the Rig mantras chooses the Yajna, which means it forms, the Yajna becomes completed only when the Rig is chanted. When the mantras are chanted, the Yajna becomes completed. The mantra holds great potency. So, there is a very beautiful verse in the Bhagavatam. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam mantradhinam tu daivatam tanmantram brahmanadhinam tasmat brahmana devata. Here the yajna refers to the brahmana. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam. This whole universe is in the hands of Daiva, is in the hands of destiny. Destiny means the system that is flowing around, the system of action, the system of reaction, the system of imprints, the system of further action and further reaction. This is called Daivam. The Karma Chakra is called Daivam. Daivadhinam Jagat Sarvam. This whole universe is standing on that. All movement, all activity is because of Daiva or fate or destiny. Mantra adhinam tu Daivatam. This destiny is contained in the mantra. The mantra is more powerful than destiny, which means When we speak the right words, when we think the right thoughts, when we feel the right emotions, and when we do the right actions, we can change our destiny. That is what the whole subject of hypnotherapy or psychology, the subconscious mind, neuro-linguistic programming, everything is dependent on this thought that with the power of words, with the power of sound, we can alter our reality, we can change our reality. Whatever we are going through, we need not resign ourselves to that. If something is not okay, we always have the power to change it by changing the way we think, the way we speak, the way we experience, and the way we do our actions and our attitudes towards those actions. Everything is contained in the power of the word. When the words are properly uttered, it has the power to bring down the deity propitiated in the ritual. So when with a lot of bhava, we do everything with dedication, and finally the words also in many places you see the decorations will be beautiful, the altar will be very beautiful, lot of expensive stuff would have gone in preparing the altar, but when they utter the mantras will be garbled, they would not have learnt it properly, or they would not have practiced it properly, or they do not care to utter it properly. They are very relaxed in what they do. In many rituals you see in these days, the family will spend on all the other extravaganzas. Then they will call the priest and they will make the priest run with all the mantras. They will almost punish him. Come on, quick, fast, fast, fast. Finish it. We don't have time for all this. And the priest will collect his dakshina and he'll go away finishing. And so however the mantra is chanted, that much only the power of that mantra is going to be. If the mantra is improperly chanted, then it is not going to, the whole process is not going to happen well. If you see, the mantra is like the blueprint of a building or a blueprint of an automobile. Whatever we want to create, some yantra, we draw a chart, we draw a blueprint, and to the finest details, the map will be to scale, or map may not be to scale. All that is there. But in that blueprint, we can't afford to make mistakes. We can't afford to ignore something because that blueprint is only going to become the reality. So in the same way, Rig here represents the words. In our childhood also, there are many problems that people go through today, like post-traumatic stress disorder or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And such disorders are very normal for everybody because it is only in the way parents speak to their children, the way they speak to their children in a particular way because they have experienced that, and what they have experienced alone will come out through their mouth. So they call their children many names of animals. They call their children with anger, with hatred. It is out of love. It is out of compassion. It is out of inability and all that. But still, the power of the word is the power of the word. When the child becomes big, the words inside are seeds, and those seeds begin to sprout. When that child becomes a father or mother, the same words will come out. Whatever words come out of the mouth, of our mouth, are all seeds that are contained in the mind. The seeds have been growing along with us. They've been eating the food along with us. And one day they come out as words in our mouth. These are the seeds that sprout as flowers, or they get thrown out as stones, or whatever other people may experience when they listen to our words. We should know that those are the seeds that have been sown inside, and those are the seeds that are getting manifest outside. Rig eka vrinute yajnam. In inner yoga, the rig or the vak represents the sound or the mantra that we use to quieten the mind and meditate. So, Patanjali Maharishi says, Tasya vachakaha Pranavaha, Ishvara Pranida. He says, Ishvara, surrender to Ishvara. Surrendering to Ishvara is one way. What is the name of Ishvara? Pranava is the name of Ishvara. And when you chant that Pranava mantra, any puja we do also, actually we chant the Pranava and then we go ahead. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha, Om Shri Ramabhadraya Namaha, Om Shri Krishnaya Namaha, Om Shri Govindaya Namaha, Om Shri Gopi Janavallabhaya Namaha, Om. So many names we chant. Before everything we chant the word Om. That Om is the name of Ishvara. When we sit quietly and chant that letter Om, when we inhale deeply and exhale with the sound of Om, inhale deeply and exhaling with Om. Inhaling deeply, exhaling with Om. The word that we chant is a prayer. The words that we say is what we are asking for. So we have to ask for the right things. In every puja, the sankalpa is the most important part of the puja. What is the sankalpa? We say, Om Mamo Pata, Mama Upata. We have gathered what? Samasta, everything. Durita, all the sins that we have gathered. Kshayadvara, we seek that those sins be destroyed. And then by destruction of the sins, what do we want to do? Do we want to go and engage in the world and get more and more stuff, do more and more work, enjoy more and more, suffer more and more, and lose our energy? No. Shri Parameshwara Prityartham, for the joy of Parameshwara, which means the supreme divinity. Parameshwara here means the yajna. Parameshwara Priti means we are working for the collective welfare of everybody. Everybody who does some action is actually, there is some little result that comes to them, some joy that comes to them, but the offering of the action is for the collective welfare of humanity. That is Sri Parameshwara Prityartham, not Mama Prityartham. Sri Parameshwara Prityartham. Then Karishyamanasya, I am doing so many actions for the sake of the divine. Karmanaha Nirvignena, may all those actions be not having any obstacles in them. The obstacles are Ahamta Mamata Vignaha and Sukhaspriha. Guruji Swami Tejomandaji says, Bhakti will remove our vignas in life. Love will remove our vignas in life. What are our vignas? Ahamta. That attaching that word I to everything. I am doing, this is my problem. So I and my is attached to everything. Ahamta, mamata, I and mine. Vignaha. The third obstacle is tathaivacha sukhaspriha. Always wanting to be comfortable. Even in modern day psychology, they say that success happens when you move out of the comfort zone into the effort zone. If you want to be comfortable always, you will always be staying where you are. If you really want to be successful, you have to move out of that comfortable circle, push yourself into effort, take in a lot of struggles in life, and then there is how boxing and all other martial arts forms are there. You raise the energy, you give yourself out, you receive the blows, you block yourself, you defend yourself. This way you gather a lot of energy around you, and that is how power develops in the personality. So, Sukhaspriha. So, Omkara is that sound which is chanted, which helps to regulate the mind and give the fruit of yajna. What is the fruit of yoga? the fruit of yoga is to be able to have the right viveka, kshana tat kramayoho samyamat vivekajam jnanam. The Patanjali Maharishi's Yoga Sutra, he explains about many different types of samadhis. And the last type of samadhi, which takes us to the phala, the karma phala of practicing yoga. What is that? Kshana. Kshana means every moment. This moment is there, next moment comes, the clock moves this side, but the moments keep coming from this side. Next moment comes, we watch. This moment goes away. Next moment comes, we watch. This moment goes away. Or from left to right. This moment comes, it goes away. This moment comes, it goes away. This moment comes, it goes away. But I am the seer of this moment. I am the seer of the next moment. I am the seer of the third moment. I am the seer of the fourth moment. Kshana tat kramayoho samyamat. When I do samyama means dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Dharana means concentration. Concentrate on this moment. Meditate on this moment. Absorb yourself in this moment. The next moment comes, concentrate on the moment. Meditate on the moment. Absorb your mind in the moment. The third moment comes, concentrate on this moment. Meditate on this moment. Absorb your mind in this moment. It goes on and on. So when I do that, I see that moments come, moments go, but I am existing forever. Moments come, moments go, I exist forever. Events come, events go, I exist forever. People come, people go, I exist forever. Thoughts come, thoughts go, I exist forever. Feelings come, feelings go, I exist forever. Emotions come, emotions go, I exist forever. So, Rig Eka Vrinute Yajnam. The Rig, with the word, with the Yajna performed outside, is the final offering is our word. The first offering is the invocation of the prana. The second offering is the building of the homakunda. The third offering is the offering of the word. The deity of the yajna is concerned about the words that we speak. What words we speak. What is our prayer. So, Durita Kshayadvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham Nirvignena. Then we ask for everything. What are all we are asking? Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Japa, Tapa, Dhyana, Niyama, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, then Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Ahimsa, Satya, Steya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaswadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. We ask Viveka, Vairagya, Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Stitiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Mumukshutvam. Ask for everything. May I have this? May I have this? Because we don't have the power of taking things. So we ask it and Bhagavan gives it to us. It is just like when we go to a hotel, we don't go and take and serve ourselves from the kitchen. We ask the server to bring it to us. We can also take it from the kitchen. If that facility is there, we would even lessen our opportunity paying more. We can even go and serve for ourselves. But that facility is not allowed at all in a hotel because they want to give employment to servers and waiters. And so we go and ask and we are being served. Even though we can take it ourselves, we ask and we allow them to serve it for us. So that is rig, asking. Even in a hotel, if you are not very clear with your ordering of the menu, that server who is going to bring it will either get confused, he will bring the wrong thing, or he will say that you please be very clear, take a right decision and I will go around and come once more. He will make us discuss further so that we give the clear instructions to him. So the yajna chooses the rik. The rik is the offering that the yajna finally takes it. And in jnana, In the Jnana Yoga, the path of Jnana, what is the Rik? The words of the Guru. So if the mind is quiet, the body is quiet, the prana is quiet, and then we listen to the words of the Guru in the form of Shravanam, the words of the Guru go straight inside, they settle in our subconscious mind. We don't need to do anything after that. Those words will start growing within us, and as our worries and anxieties grew, these beautiful words will grow in us, and these beautiful words will spring forth with leaves and flowers and bloom into a great tree of enlightenment. The Guru's words are unfailing. Nothing can stop the Guru's words from manifesting itself. That is the Rik in the path of Jnana. So from the worldly standpoint, the speech of the person is Rig. It becomes infallible only when supported by a disciplined mind, Yajus, and undissipated energy, Sama. So the Rig is the speech, the disciplined mind is the Yajus or the Homakunda, and the undissipated collected energy is the Sama. So in this way, when we do our work, every action of ours becomes a yajna. When we integrate our speech, thoughts, words, and actions, all our actions become a yajna. And the yajna, the next question is very beautiful. If we do everything in the right manner, there is no chance by which we will not get the results. That's the last question. When a yajna is performed, it cannot violate nor grant the prayers if done by following rules. Or that is, if the rules are followed. That's the last question. Kam yajnaha na ativartate. Whom does not the yajna transgress? Meaning, the yajna does not violate whom? The one who does yajna in this manner, with Rik, Yajus and Sama being invoked properly, the yajna will not violate them, meaning the yajna will not refuse to give the results. Which means, if we join together and do the work in the right manner, invoke the energy together, and organize ourselves beautifully together, and speak the right words and offer the right words into that action, there is no way by which we will not get the expected results in the actions. It is a very beautiful dynamo. The yajna is a dynamo. It's a movement of energy. It is a movement of energy through us collectively poured into the action, and the action brings the results in the form of experiences. When our experience is beautiful, it means the yajna has given us the desired results. How beautiful it is, whether it is our own daily work in the workaday world, or it is the ritual fire, or our meditative yogic practices, or our contemplations in jnana, when we put in the right ingredients, when we invoke the energy, when we control the mind, and when we speak the right words, the results are never going to be failing us. The results will never disappoint us. We will not have any trouble with the yajna or the offering that we do. So the inner yoga, when all practices are performed scientifically, the mantra is meditated upon, then there is no way that the mind will not become quiet. We practice yoga to quieten the mind and to identify with the highest truth or the highest reality. And in Jnana Yoga, when the path of Shravanam, the Viveka Vairagya, and the 4 qualities with 6 qualities of Shama, Dama, Uparamastatiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, all these practices are followed. And with all that, we become a fit adhikari and listen to the teacher, listen to the master, Shravanam. Then we contemplate on that, Mananam, all the time, and then observe ourselves in meditation, Nidhidhyasanam. There is no way by which we can fail to realize our true self. which is to know our true self, which is the only way by which we can attain moksha. Moksha is attained by knowing the self, knowledge of the self. So that is why word is also called Vak or Vani or Saraswati. Words are worshipped as goddess Saraswati because they have the power to get what we want in our life. If what we are getting now is not very suitable for us, then we have used the wrong words before. Now, if we use the right words and we invoke the gods in the right way, we will get what we desire in our lives. Om Sarvesham Swastirбhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Boliye Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Om. We will meet again on Sunday for Vision of Vedanta, listen to Tattva Bodha, and on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday we will have Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 on Chinmaya Surya channel. So stay tuned. Hari Om.